Alright, it's me, Mr. Cunningham. I'm back again. We're going to get into equations today. This is our third unit, and we're going to get into... So that is our objective today, since we'll be able to solve equations using the inverse operations. Our quote for today is, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Alright, sometimes it takes more than one step to solve an equation. So remember that to solve equations, you must work backwards through the order of operations to find the value of the variable. Now, in the last unit, we talked about the order of operations. We did those in PEMDAS. Which is parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, addition, subtraction together. Now, the unit work backwards in this case. So what our main focus is, what we want to focus on is solving for the variable. So we want to solve for that variable, and we're going to have to undo things first. We're going to undo the addition and subtraction. So we subtract 2 to both sides, and which is what they have right here. And so we subtract it. And remember, when you subtract this 2, it has to go to the constant over here. 10 minus 2 is 8. And then we're at this step. This is our second step. And so it's 4x equals 8. That's 4x is 4 times 8. Remember, that's a coefficient, so that means multiplication. So you got to divide by 4 to both sides by dividing, because it's the opposite of multiplication. And so we get x equals 2 for our answer. Let's try to solve this problem. This one has negatives involved, but really we're going to do the subtraction here. So we're going to take our steps. So we're going to add this 9 to both sides. And so when we add that 9, we bring down this negative 2y because we did not touch it. So negative 2y. Negative 13 plus 9 is negative 4. Equals negative 4. And so this negative 2y is multiplication. So we're going to do that by dividing. Is the inverse of multiplication. Divided by negative 2. Negative divided by negative, we learned that earlier in this year, and that is a positive 2. We have 3 problems here we're going to look at. So once again, we're going to subtract a 6 first from that 10, and we get w over 2 equals 4. Now this w over 2 is a fraction, and fractions means division. So we're going to inverse operation, and inverse of division is multiplication. So we're going to times multiply by 2 to both sides, and we get w equals 8. So now we're going to go over here. I'm going to divide this over here. We're going to add 4. That's our first step. 14 plus 4 is 18. Equals 3j. We didn't use that 3j, so we just bring it down. And 3j means 3 times j, so now we're going to divide by 3. Divide by 3 to both sides, and we get j equals 6. I know my handwriting is not very good on this because it's very hard to write on my computer. All right, so j equals 6 there, and we can check those answers. If we plug them back in, like from the first one, we plug it up here. 8 divided by 2 is 4, right? 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 equals 10. That works out. That checks. Plug 6 in here for j. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 4 is 14. That one checks out. So we can now solve this one. Minus 3. It's the inverse of adding 3. So negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Remember that. Those are things you have to be careful of. It's not dividing and multiplying. You're just adding a negative. And so we have negative 2x. So negative 2 times x. Inverse operations is to divide by 2. So we're going to divide by negative 2. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2, because negative divided by negative is a positive. X equals 2. We can check that answer. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So that one works out also. Next one. 2 problems here. We're going to add 4 to both sides. We get negative 2m equals 26. Now we're going to divide by negative 2. M equals negative 13. Now we can plug that back in. Negative 13 times negative 2 is positive 26. 26 minus 4 equals 22. That one's correct. Last one here on this slide. We're going to subtract 2. Subtract 2. And we get negative 10 minus 2 is negative 12. Now, you see that negative out here? See that negative right there? Well, that negative can go anywhere it wants. It can go to the x or it can go to the 3. It doesn't matter which way you want to do it. That is entirely up to you. I generally put it with the variable. So I'm going to make this negative x divided by 3 equals negative 12. So that's being divided by 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3 both sides. And so I have negative x equals negative 36. Now we're not done here because the variable must be positive. And so this is a negative 1x. So really it's a negative 1 times x. So we're going to divide by negative 1. And that means x equals a positive 36. And we can plug that back in and make sure it works. Positive 36 divided by 3 is 12, but there's a negative here. So that's negative 12. Negative 12 plus 2. Okay, so negative 12 plus 2 right here is negative 10. That works out. So we're good there. One more problem I want to show you, just as a one that has a big fraction. I like to call them big fractions. Say 2x plus 4 divided by, all divided by 2 equals 10. Now what happens here is that there's actually parentheses here on top, but they don't show that to you. Okay, so they don't show that to you. So inverse operations means parentheses first, right? Well, not parentheses last. The parentheses would be last. So parentheses would be last. So we're going to do the 2x plus 4 last. And we're going to focus on this 2 in the bottom with that big fraction. It's dividing this whole big parentheses by 2. So we're going to multiply by 2 first. And that crosses those 2 out. That one's gone, and that's gone. Multiply by 2, and it gives us 20. What's left is the 2x plus 4. So we have 2x plus 4. And we're back to a 2-step. Now this is multi-step. So we're going to subtract 4. 16 equals 2x. And then we can divide by 2. X equals 8. Check our answer here. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 divided by 2 on the bottom there is 10. That one works out. Remember, check your answers. It's important. Remember, these are just quick hit notes for if you miss class. These are good for you to look back on.